Hi, it's Dr. Dina Churchill, Innovator in Health and Wellness, and we're here again at Tri-County Regional School Board in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, with a mom. We just met with the principal of her children's school and also the executive director, I guess, of the school board, regional school board. And so we sat in as members of the Common Law Atlantic Assembly, myself, Linda, Anastasia, and Karen, with Caitlin, and reviewed the meeting. So what I'd like to do is sort of document first today, right, Monday, September 28th, the names of the men that we met with, what we presented them with, the information that we showed you on the earlier video, and then just to have kind of the minutes of the meeting, I guess, dispersed in the different attendees as witnesses to what happened today. So I'm going to start with Caitlin, the mom whose kids weren't allowed in school because they couldn't wear masks. So she had a medical mask exemption for both kids, and they've refused her an education. So we'll just start with Caitlin. Okay, Caitlin. So how do you feel, maybe move over just a little bit in case somebody comes out of the door. So here's where we are. We just came out from the meeting. It's about 1:20. And how do you feel like the meeting went today?
Not very well. So they're just saying that Mr. Gobien and Chris Boulter just saying the same thing. They have the same stance. They're saying the back to school plan they sent me from public health, they're saying that they're just not changing their stance that the girls have to come to school wearing a mask. But in the back to school plan that they sent me, it says right in there that there are exemptions, and they're just completely ignoring that.
And what direction did they give you? Why did they say they're going against their own school policy to allow mask exemptions? What was their defense?
So they're just saying that they're following the back to school plan. But I showed them that the back to school plan right in there, it says there are children who are exempt, and they have nothing to respond to that.
So they're not making any accommodation based on what they have in their own back-to-school plan that's supposed to allow for mask exemptions.
No exemptions, no exceptions whatsoever.
So that seems like a very uncompromising position. Who were the men that you met with today?
So Kevin Gobien, which is the vice principal, acting principal at the moment, and Chris Boulter.
And what school is it?
And he's the executive director at Meadowfields. They go to Meadowfields Community School.
I just want to thank you for coming out today and for standing up for all mothers, because, Caitlin, a lot of mothers know this is ridiculous, right? There's no science to support that masks actually help prevent against the virus, and lots of science to show that it reduces your kids' oxygen. So it takes a loving, courageous mother to kind of come out and stand up. And the reason why they're not, accommodating is they know that once one mother, wins this battle in this area, all the mothers will come to her aid, because no one wants to be smothering their kids with masks for a fake pandemic, really. So I just want to thank you. Did you have any closing thoughts?
I'm not giving up.
Awesome. Love you for that. Okay, so now we're going to go to Karen, and Karen has a unique situation because she's been through all this at her school with her kids. And Karen, maybe you can tell me a little bit first what you did with your kids, and then how you felt like the meeting went today, and how it was different maybe for Caitlin than it was for you.
Well, I found in our school district, it was met more favorably, although I did have to climb the ranks from principal to his boss to his boss. But it wasn't a long, hard, drawn-out battle. It was over pretty quickly. Once she knew that they were mask exempt for medical reasons, it was over. So she's following the same policies that were put out by the Nova Scotia Department of Education or Minister of Health. It's the same back-to-school policies. So I don't understand where, they're basically putting their feet on the ground, sinking them, and not budging at all. I thought the meeting here was ridiculous from the moment that we walked in, because they knew I was coming as an advocate for Caitlin and wanted to separate Caitlin from myself right away by pulling her into the boardroom alone. once we realized that, we did walk in. But I think a huge interest. Well, when we were in there too, I had to remind them 3 times that it was illegal for them to ask why they were medically exempt. 3 times. So, and they didn't seem to be educated enough to know that they can't ask that, nor does she have to provide that information. Clearly, they haven't read it enough to know. What is very interesting is a letter that was sent to Caitlin on September 20th this year, and it was by Chris Boulter. And he talks about their back-to-school plan. We all have a responsibility to protect each other in the public health guidance in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia's back-to-school plan provides some measures and advice to minimize risks to students and staff. This direction requires that all students in grade 4 to 12 and any combined classes, that includes grade 4s, wear a mask inside a school if physical distancing of 2 meters is not possible. All students of all ages must wear a mask on the bus. Our schools are required through public health directives, the public health order to follow these directives. He then goes on to say, public health, those are getting small on me here. I'll wait for that interference there. Public health and the medical community recognize that some students, for medical reasons, are unable to wear a mask. So he's recognized that, he's put that in print, but he's not following through with it. They're unable to wear a mask, and these situations are being addressed on an individual basis. So this was an individual base. They're not able to wear a mask, but he's flatly refusing to address the situation. So he's lying. And he goes on to say, refusal to wear a mask is managed, I'm going small again here, is managed through our Code of Conduct policy. This letter is to inform you that your child is required to wear a mask in school or they will be sent home to protect others. We are required to follow the guidance and direction from public health, which they're clearly not doing. There are exemptions. They're not following the exemptions. So 2 thumbs down, in my opinion, to what the school district is doing.
Thanks, Karen. And you successfully had your kids, attend school in your district unmasked, right?
Yes, our district has been wonderful. It took a little climbing to get that result, but they're in school, they're on the bus without masks. They're not treated any differently than any other children, and their teachers are phenomenal.
Yeah, and you would think, if you give people the information that there's no science to support this, mask wearing and the dangers associated, that they would, be accommodating to this. But they really have blinders on, don't they?
Yes, and I think another important point is that they're not aware that they each can be held liable. They can't hide under the school board. The principal's liable for refusing to let the children in masked exempt. And that can be money out of his pocket. So that people need to start thinking about the consequences, because to deny somebody's children access to school when it clearly outlines there is a pathway to get there is, just not okay.
Great. Thank you, Karen. So we had some other mothers here. Anastasia has gone through the same thing in her school, in Chester Middle School. Anastasia, how did you think the meeting went today?
Well, the guy is basically sorry. He's acting like he's God and taking the back to school mandate way too personally. Like, it's just like he's like a retail store worker who thinks it's their job to uphold this ridiculous masking business. So I think the guy's taking his job way too seriously. He needs to realize that it's up to the parents to decide what their children can and cannot do, and he isn't responsible for dealing with that issue, right? He's an educator. He should just stick to making sure the kids are getting a good quality education, but he wasn't willing to see that. So I was just incredibly disappointed in him as a person. I feel like he wasn't actually listening to us. He had his mind already made up, and that's it. So I'm happy to be here to support the mom, because I know what it's like.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out to support. You know, us moms have to stick together. Linda, do you have some thoughts on how you, Linda is our education coordinator at the Atlantic Common Law Assembly. Do you have some thoughts of how the meeting went? How you might see it have gone differently? Or
Well, you know, it's a step we have to go through just to show up. There's never a lot of hope. It's a lot of repetitiveness, same story, but we are coming up with plans. We're moving forward. You know, we're banding together. We're showing up together and supporting each other and to help the others. So, yeah, I can't wait till we gather some more information and take it to the next level. We are going back. We are going to have the children on masks. We will, because that's just all there is to it.
And do you think they were surprised by the data that shows the ineffectiveness of masks, and also the data that shows how there's problems associated, you know, not to mention reducing oxygen, but other problems of infections, both in the face and in the lungs with mask wearing? Do you think they were a little shocked with the idea that masking could actually be more dangerous than helpful?
Well, I'm not sure. We certainly have all kinds of information we brought with us, but upon trying to share it, it was just rejected. Just no, I'm not having that. Some refusal, just on some level. It's his duty really to look at the information and consider it, and not just randomly. So I felt early on, you know, in the conversation that. Yeah, his decision was made. I do believe it's his decision. He's the one I'm going to hold responsible for it, Chris. Yes, because he's the one who is making the statements.
Okay, thanks for that. So I'm just going to get another shot here, and we'll turn it around. We presented the principal and the executive director, and their names again were Kevin Gobien and Chris Boulter, with the law that was passed by the Council of Common Law Assemblies back September the 8th that outlaws COVID measures. They're unlawful, they're unhealthy. So not just the masking, mandatory vaccines, the lockdowns, you know, it's really not based on science, but by corrupt government and tyranny. And this is what we see. Any of the stores often that, are refusing customers, or a school board, you know, they always defer to the guy higher up. Oh, this came from the health department. This came from Robert Strang. Well, there's no hiding. There's no hiding from common law. And that's the law that gives us freedom and liberty, right, of equality and equal rights. And so whatever their positions, whatever their teacher positions, whatever the doctor positions, whatever the honorable minister positions, we're holding them personally accountable. Not only for injuries that may happen to our children with the masking, because masks don't protect against viruses, right? This has been shown by the science. This is a scam. There has been no more deaths with this COVID-19 than there are in flu in any other year, right? The whole pandemic is a scam. The idea is to keep you into a mask so then they can sell you the vaccine. So we need parents to wake up. And I know there's mothers that are home right now saying, oh, it's too bad my kids have to wear a mask and reduce their oxygen, affect their brain function, but you don't have the courage to stand up. But just know there's other mothers. Connect with us, right? There's Karen. You can connect with me on Facebook, or connect with me through dr.dinagc@gmail.com. And we have to stand together because, you know, this is the health of our children. This is what matters. So again, I don't know. I hope I don't see. We've had some problems with the live videos, so I hope this is live. And send some love to Caitlin. Send your prayers to kind of all our kids who are out there right now sort of bartering our oxygen for an education. And we need mothers to stand up because, you know, we are the change. We have to be the change that we wish to see. And these are tyrannical procedures that are coming down from our governments that are not based in science. You've seen the documentations that we presented earlier. And to know that, you know, these two men now have that information, and we're holding them personally liable. So we'll give you an update and hope to see what happens from that. But I'd ask you to reach for the stars, envision and achieve the best for you and your family, and then go out and live it. Dr. Dina Churchill signing out.